Oh my goodness. I am so excited about this panel of incredible women. We are doing a rock what you've got for this session. And these ladies, I'm so excited to introduce you. Before I introduce, actually, I'll let you all say hi and say your name and your location, the city you're in right now, and then I'm going to do proper intros. And I've got a bunch of questions, but while we let people join this Facebook Live, hopefully there's going to be people joining live. If not watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Please still comment whenever you're watching. This is an interactive thing. We love questions, we love comments, we love oh yes and all of that. Emojis, everything. Please make it interactive and fun with us. All these ladies are amazing, and we are also going to record it. Yes. So, how about we start with Amy? You're from the Food is Love experience? What city are you in right now? From Italy to Mexico to where are you now?
Where in the world is Amy? Today, I am in Oregon, grand state of Oregon.
So. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
And Vanessa, where are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Vanessa Ray, and I am in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, the ray of light in Pennsylvania. And Erin Baker.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Baker. I am from upstate New York, up in the mountains.
New York, fantastic. And Estelle.
Loads of ladies here from the States. Hi, everyone. I am Estelle Coombe-Heath, and I am from Melbourne, Australia.
Yay, my fellow person in Australia. We're two of us down under and the other three of you in the US, and it's such a beautiful global team. We're going to have a lot of fun for this session. Rock What You've Got is a personal passion of mine. I'm Deb King, the co-founder of the Wisdom Playground, and we are all about uplifting humanity. And for a very long time I've had the idea of what if we all just did this like movement about rock what you've got, because there's people that can be skinny, fat, doesn't matter their shape, size, what they look like. If they really believe in themselves and rock what they've got, they create magic and awesomeness, and it's so very powerful. And I just think it's time for us all to step into that power. And I know that's why I brought you guys together, because you're all got wisdom in this domain, all personal experience in this domain as well, and you help your clients in this domain. So I'm super excited to kick off. Well, I was going to actually do a little intro. Actually, you know what? I could do intros, but maybe we just get into the questions and the intros will come out of it. I'll do a quick yeah. Let's get into let's start. Why must we rock what we've got? Stell, why must we rock what we've got?
I think we are all just such beautiful beings of light, and we kind of get distracted with the physical. Everything is about what we see. We compare ourselves, and that brings us down, but we also bring society down. I work with a lot of women who, border eating disorders. Some of them have recovered from eating disorders. And there's just so much time and energy wasted on what should be, instead of what's right here in front of us, which is amazing. And I also wanted to just add, we need to set that example for children. There's children now of ages 4 to 6 year old presenting binge eating disorder, emotional eating, and like going on serious diets. And I think this is almost a pandemic that we need to look a certain way to be amazing when we're already amazing as we are.
Oh yeah. And I think what I'll do is just to add on, introducing you, following your answer, and do that for everyone. Estelle is actually a certified health and life coach specializing in body image, spirituality, emotional eating, and women's empowerment. And her brand is Wholesome Lifestyle Project. And this has a vision of a future where women are no longer ashamed of their bodies, where young girls don't feel guilty about what they eat, and they draw their self-worth from within, not from what they look like on the outside. Woo woo, yay!
Yeah, right?
So let's next go to Amy, who is the founder of the Food is Love Experience. She's on a mission to change the way we feel about how we eat and the effects of our feelings that we have on our cravings, our body, our ability to digest. And even though she's got a bright and shiny personality, and her true love for food was actually not innate, it was learned, because she has lived in Italy. And, and the love they infuse in their cooking has totally fueled her passion. And I totally relate to that, because I am obsessed with Italy and food ever since I went there in 2018. So, Amy, why must we rock what we've got?
Oh my goodness. Because to add to what Stell said, when we're rocking what we got, we get to focus on the world. We get to push that shine and that joy that we have out, and we lift up the world around us by doing that. If we're inside and worried about how we look and worried about what's going on and worried about the shirt that we have and it doesn't look that, it doesn't look like hers, we're hiding our light. We're not able to shine fully, and the world needs us to shine. As women, we are going to conquer everything that's wrong with it, right? If we're band together and if we can shine brighter, I totally know from the bottom of my heart that as we inspire women to embrace their bodies as they are and embrace the changes that are constantly happening, even when you get to where you want to be, it's going to change. There's no way it can't. The whole world is constantly ebbing and flowing, and so do our bodies. And so rocking in the moment what we have helps us empower other people around us.
Yes. Woo! I think it's like you guys are just going to be dropping the mic the whole time. Like every question I ask, it's like, yes, mic drop.
Right?
So next I want to go to gorgeous Vanessa Ray of Light to tell you, before I ask you the question, Vanessa, I just want to share that Vanessa has done so many different trainings, but what's really inspiring is not just the training she's done. Her experience comes from her own transformation of her personal hurdles of overcoming an eating disorder, depression, abusive relationships, shopping addiction, loss of a baby, self-destructing, sabotaging behaviors. She's drawn from all of that and actually transformed herself and had loads of different modalities she's learned and amazing mentors, but it's just incredible the journey she's been on and how she can help from that personal experience. Vanessa, you're amazing. Why must we rock what we got?
Well, and this might seem a little, I like to say we don't have to. However, the consequences of not rocking what we've got are despair, depression, self-destruction, tearing each other down, war, hiding. It's the world falling apart. And so really getting to a place, just like anyone doesn't have to eat healthy or have to lose weight, we don't have to rock what we've got. But if we do, then we are, like everyone else has said so far, we're shining our light and we're being who we're called to be in the world. Because when we're so conditioned and preoccupied with tearing ourselves down and therefore tearing others down, or vice versa, it's all the same, right? When we're so busy doing that, then we're not busy doing what we could be doing, which is what we're here to do, which is love others and receive love and shine our gifts and be joyful and rock our bodies and share and give and love and express joy. And when we do that, things we didn't even know we were meant to do, or ways that the world could come together, like then they get born, because we're not busy self-destructing. So, I mean, those are the options there. So that's why I choose to rock what I've got. It's not because I'm finally perfect and I lost that 40 pounds. It's because I rather live in a certain world than the other world that I had already tried living in,
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, we don't have to, but it's definitely a better quality experience of life if we do.
Sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And now to my darling friend Erin Baker, who I've had an amazing experience working with her. She has been pursuing health and wellness her whole life. She started off in the clinical laboratory science kind of world and then was suffering a lot of health problems herself, including autoimmune disorders. And that drove her to find natural and holistic remedies for herself. And so she's got degrees in human biology and holistic health science and natural health and a health practitioner, life coach, all those beautiful transformational coaching things. But what was really exciting when I heard about Erin is she's also studying to be a naturopath at Quantum University in Hawaii, which is where she has mentors like Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton. And yeah, so welcome, Erin. Tell us why you feel we need to rock what we've got.
I think it's time to rock what we've got because the movement's starting and it's picking up speed, and we want to help that get even faster. I mean, there's people like Ashley Graham, Tess Holliday, Lizzo that are stepping up and they are saying, hey, I'm beautiful. I don't fit a cookie cutter mold of what beauty is, but damn, I'm beautiful. And it's really showing women that perfection is in our imperfections, right? And when we embrace our imperfections, that's when the beauty shines. And if you can get a mass of women really just embracing their own perfection, their own beauty, they can stop wasting energy trying to change themselves, and they can change the world for the better. That's where shit happens, right? Like that's where it happens. And that's really why we should be rocking what we got right now.
Yes, what needed right now. The world needs us to focus on important stuff, not just wasting our time on things that is just really not cool. Awesome. So we're going to go to hearing about like a brief story from you guys of what made you focus on what you do now. So if we actually start with you, Erin, what was it that really inspired you to do what you do now?
I had a couple, I always say, what does God say? If you don't hear him whisper, he gets louder and louder and louder until he screams. And I had one of those experiences where I just wasn't listening. And when I was in my early 30s, I was, very sick, overweight, just kind of falling apart. And our house had caught on fire in the middle of the night. And so I had two young boys at the time, and they were, 2 and 4. But I remember if my ex-husband wasn't there, I kept thinking I couldn't have gotten them out of the house. And it was one of those moments of like, this is not acceptable. I am not okay. This isn't how this is going to play out. Like, I have to be better for them. I have to be better for me because I don't want them to lose me, right? They need a mom, they need a protector, and I needed to start taking care of myself. And I had no idea what that looked like at the time because I don't think I'd ever taken care of myself. I was raised to be selfless, right? That's what a lot of women were raised to be selfless. And, I learned pretty quick that the more I started taking care of myself, even just the mindset of getting rid of negative thoughts, it's like my body started to feel better and things started to change. And I'm like, how did they not teach you this in school? You know how many degrees I had, and nobody taught me in college to not be mean to myself. It was one of those, to be gentle, to be kind. And that really started the ball rolling for me, where I was like, this is really important and I need to share this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really beautiful. Love it. What about for you, Amy?
Food. Well, as you said, my love of food was not innate. And I had an amazing upbringing. My mother had a garden and raised her own meat, chickens, and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't appreciate it. And I went into college and I started thinking that, we all needed this whole low fat, starve yourself idea. And I yo-yoed for about 10 years. And then I found myself married and in Italy. And the love of food that is there, it's palatable. And I lived there for 9 years. And I slowly was able to change my thinking around food and also appreciate simplicity of it and learn to cook. I didn't know how to cook. My mother cooked. I hated cooking. I married a man who liked to cook. And then all of a sudden, he decided he didn't want to cook anymore because he wants to get a different degree. So it's on you, wife. And I was like, ah. But I learned but I also learned processes because there they cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The men come and the children come home for lunch. And I was used to like sandwiches for lunch, right? So in the grocery store in the mornings, the mothers were like, "What are you making for lunch today?" And I'd be like, "Sandwiches," in my very broken Italian. And that was so unheard of because they're preparing like the sauces and the smells on the streets, even when you're in Italy, is like amazing because everybody's making this amazing stuff. So I learned some processes for myself because I was not going to be in the kitchen all the time. And when I moved back to the States, I noticed the frantic craziness that is called mealtime at all hours in here. I decided to create a personal chef business where I would go in and I would use my systems and I would fill your refrigerator with whatever you needed to get through the week on whatever healthy eating plan you were told you need to be on or whatever was needed. And I could make recipes specific for you and I could make things healthy. And I was filling refrigerators, and some of the people who were paying me weekly still weren't eating the food. I was like, what in the world is that? Like, who here wouldn't be like, me, please fill my refrigerator with food and I would eat it. It would be no problem, right? All of us. There's not barely anybody. And even this woman was like that. And then she wasn't eating it. And so I started to dig because I don't like that kind of thing. And I found the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, and I was hooked. And it fed into the natural love that I discovered for food. And it gave me the tools to be able to help people moving forward. So now I could sit down with anybody at any table and help you fall in love with that plate in front of you and not feel guilty about it. And just discover your true relationship with food. Like, people don't even consider that there is a thing as a relationship, and they don't consider that it takes a little bit of work. All relationships take a little bit of work, and they want it to be just this natural thing that happens, and it's not. So I created the Food is Love experience to shine the light on your relationship with food.
Oh, that is cool. That is really cool. It's like, ooh, I love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing it. Over to you, Stell. What's your story that got you focused where you are now?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So mine is a 13-year long journey of, um, starting off really unhealthy, started working in the corporate world. I worked extremely long hours. I stopped eating during the day. I'd live off coffee and cigarettes to keep me going. And then at nighttime, I would just eat whatever was in sight. And I kind of did that for about 3 years. And then I realized, well, this is actually not healthy. I always had this slight problem with binge eating. However, I didn't really realize it was a pattern that I had. And so through this corporate world, I intensified that. And or in this particular role I played, I'd work 14-hour days and not eating, and then get home and eat a whole chicken and, or like almost a whole cottage pie. And so I wasn't healthy at all. My stress levels were through the roof, migraines every single day. So it was, I really wanted to make a change. So I started on the healthy path, the eat less, run more philosophy that we all know very, very well. And my journey yo-yo dieted through that, like I've been through 25 different diets in those 13 years. And no matter what I did, I just still binge through it. And I became an marathon runner to try and make up for my binge eating. Literally, I ran ultra marathons. I would be on my healthy diet, run to the gym, work out for 2 hours, run home. Patterns like that kind of just and it started consuming my life. I would be healthy, and I'd sit at my desk and literally see food in front of me. Like, that's how disordered my behavior and my patterns started becoming. And the stricter I became, the more intensified my binge eating became. And that's when I realized there's a problem here. I'm doing all the right things, but the binge eating is not going away. And that's when I actually started looking for alternatives. I went to a psychologist, and they told me, well, according to the, textbook, she didn't say that, but she's like, you're not a binge eater. But she didn't ask me about all the corrective things I'm doing. She just said, you don't look like a binge eater, right? I went to a dietitian, and she said, you just need to be more disciplined, white knuckle through your cravings. And so I tried. And with that, I actually felt like I'm a failure. Like I felt like, well, I can't get this right. What is wrong with me? Everyone else seems to have this normalcy around food, they feel fine around eating a slice of pizza, and I can't. I just lose my stuff, and through the times I lost weight, I got extremely, really thin, still hated what I saw in the mirror. I still wanted to lose more. I still wanted to, I got to a point where I was eating nothing, running marathons, and still wanting to build a six-pack abs. Like my body's like, what are you doing? And eventually I found a coach that really helped me through my processes. And, I studied yoga, and I did my health coaching course where we learned a few principles in similar to the Institute of Food Psychology of Food. However, it wasn't enough. So that's when I started looking at cognitively, how do we think when it comes to food in such a disordered space? How do we think about our bodies, and how does that land into our behaviors? And then also, how do we process emotions? So yeah, that's kind of my journey of then and now. I now full-time help women who have gone through similar issues like me have a better relationship with food, and more importantly, their bodies.
Thank you, Still. I think what's beautiful about all of you inspiring ladies is it's evidence that no matter where we are right now, however we feel about ourselves, whatever the state of our health and body and how we're thinking about ourselves, it is all actually possible to change and to live a really healthy life, like the way you guys are just have created such beautiful transformations in your lives, and you do that with so many clients, that it, no matter where someone, if you're watching right now and you're in a not a good way, it is possible to change, and it's really, really cool. And there's incredible support for you if you need it, or whoever you resonate most with, to definitely reach out.
Right? Can I say something with that? And I would say not a change, but a growth.
Yeah.
You're in a space, and it's not that you need to change, it's just growing out of it as you grow out of a season, as you grow out of things. So
yeah, totally. That's a good reframe. Excellent. Vanessa, what's the story that got you to where you are right now? I know shared a little bit. You've been through a lot.
Yes. The quick story, and there's things that everyone on the panel has already shared that really resonate with me, and there's parts of your stories that are in mine as well. And basically I got to such a point with my bulimia and the other chaos around it, with like the depression and not being able to, like, the berating. And as Erin was saying, that we're not kind of the mental diet, what thoughts we're thinking, what we're feeding our head, that we're not even talked about. I mean, no one talked to me about that. In fact, it was kind of encouraged that you're just kind of, that's not real, or it doesn't count, or you're too sensitive or something. And at some point I was in college, and I was already I was doing massage and intuitive services, but the other side of it is I was having a total breakdown, and I couldn't count on myself to make it through a day without, getting rid of all my food, or without berating myself, or like, it was so, I knew at that point, like, this has gone beyond what I was okay with, but I didn't know how to get out because I'd worked myself into this spiral. And I ended up checking myself into the psych ward because I didn't know what else to do. And I didn't feel safe, and I couldn't count on myself anymore. That internal relationship that I think is the most important, that relationship with yourself. Like, I had I felt so distant and lost that I didn't feel safe anymore. And it was really deciding to go into the psych ward that was a huge thing. I dropped out of school for a semester. I stopped massaging. And luckily I didn't have children yet at the time. But it was really my wake up call of, I'm going to work my way through this. I'm going to be with this. And I know that healing is possible. And I think it's always possible. And like someone else had mentioned, I think it was Estelle was talking about these other approaches that she got, these really clinical kind of approaches. They sent me to a nutritionist who would tell me what to eat. And it's like, I know what to eat. I'm not going to do it. That's not what I want to eat, or I'm going to eat all of it, or whatever. And so I really noticed it took years for me to work my way kind of into a really, really healthy place. But I remember feeling like there wasn't a lot that I got that really felt like it addressed the mental kindness, the heart stuff, the way of being with food that felt holistic and not objectifying. I think that not only was I objectifying my body and myself, I feel like I kind of lived in a culture, and that we do in some ways, that really is objectifying of food, where we don't even think of food as, we just think of calories or fat or nutrients or sugars. And it's like, well, there's this whole like emotional relationship with eating food, this whole mental relationship of eating food. There's this whole energetics of food. There's all the invisible stuff that I believe what we really are is this invisible stuff. And so for about 10 years after that psych ward experience of really being scared, and like I could potentially die, or at least I didn't know how to live anymore. Just slowly, you kind of working my way through, really starting with mindset and non-judgment as a practice, as a daily, if not hourly practice of non-judgment and forgiveness. And when, as Amy has mentioned, when like starting to think of food as a relationship, when I started really thinking of food as loving me and giving its life up for me, and the sunlight in it and the water in it and the soil in it, and whether it's an animal or a plant or whatever it is, when I started getting that, like, the earth is giving to me, it's a miracle to have this food on my plate. And how much better I felt when I felt that way, when I projected positivity onto my food versus this is going to make me fat, this is going to make me sick, this means this means this, which is all, I was making all that up. And so I just changed my relationship to the mirror, to my body, to food, to my mind. I broke up with the abuser in my head, but it was really started, and it wasn't this kind of romantic, glamorized, I went to the psych ward and then I got out and I was fixed. It was messy and long and, ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, like real life. But that was that point where I was like, wow, holy shit, I'm in the psych ward and I don't want to do this, but I don't know how to not do this. And right now, this is the place for me to be. And it was the way out that, which is what my program is about, is all these things I ended up pulling in and using for myself, pretty much to save my life and have now a body and a life and just a self that I love and food that I enjoy that I never thought was possible for me.
Wow. Congratulations to you and to all of you, actually. It's so inspiring to hear your stories, and I love it. I'm so glad we pulled this together because it's like so cool. You guys are amazing. So let's move to some practical tips and suggestions and how we can actually rock what we've got. So if someone watching right now, listening, can take away and do something different, what would you suggest? If we start with you, Vanessa, what would you suggest is a good action?
Yeah, well, there's so much, but I'm just going to pick one because that's what you said. I don't want to be an over talker like I tend to be. So, I would go to realizing that, you don't have to change. Just kind of like when you said, why do we have to rock what we've got? I know that for myself, when I told myself I have to get healthier, I have to lose weight, or I have to stop eating this food, or I have to stop binging, it just trapped me in. And it wasn't until I felt the freedom of, I don't have to do anything. I can totally self-destruct if I want. I can totally become obese if I want. I can totally be bulimic for the rest of my life if I want. And so I guess my quick tip is realizing you really are a free human being. You can do whatever you want for forever. But the consequences of it is something that you will live with. You will create your life from this. So maybe going from a place of, instead of I have to do this, I choose to do this, and releasing that pressure. I didn't have to turn my life around. What turned my life around is when I was like, oh, I really want to. I really want this. I really choose this. And you go from like victim to responsibility in a minute, in a second,
Yes, love that. We are free. We can choose and choose whatever you actually feel you want, really want. And sometimes we have to wait till it gets to rock bottom, but you don't have to wait till it gets to rock bottom either. I love it. Thank you. What about for you, Erin? What's a tip you'd like to share? Something practical we could do?
One of the things I talk to my clients about the most is really the self-love aspect of healing, and how if we take a look at what we say to ourselves, and if somebody was saying that to us, we would think they're abusive. We'd be like, you would never say those words that you speak to yourself to anyone else in this world, right? You're not going to walk up to someone and be like, look how fat you are. We don't do that. And think of the damage we know that happens to people who have been abused. If they're in abusive households, the damage it takes on their body. Imagine when it's you doing it to yourself for every single day, all these years saying these things to you. So for me, it's building a new muscle, and it's a muscle of grace and appreciation, which can be challenging when you've had so many years of these negative thoughts. And so something as simple as go to Pinterest, Instagram, and just look up self-love affirmations. You will see a million of them. Take a screenshot and put it on the wallpaper on your phone. Like I have one right now that's 5 affirmations when I turn on my phone. So every time you go on your phone, you're going to see an affirmation of self-love, and you're just going to say it, and it's going to start to reprogram that brain. And you're going to say kind things to yourself. And that's what makes change. That's what's going to change the body, change the stress levels, lower the cortisol, all those beautiful things that happen. And, we're on our phone a million times a day. So it's like an easy, no thought. We don't have to really think about it. And it just works.
Oh, yeah. Very, very powerful. I love that. Nice and simple. Thank you. And definitely makes a difference of what we're saying to ourselves. Wow. Cool. Actually, I've been saying my life is fun, and my life has become more fun. It's really cool. Thank you, Erin. What about from you, Stell? What's a practical tip you'd like to share?
I think we need to take the emphasis away from the body itself. Start looking at other aspects of being. We are like, I think we all here agree with, we not just mind, we're not just body, we're like a whole package. We have emotions, everything else. So why are we focused so much on appearance? We need to take that away. And one way we can do that for ourselves is to start surrounding you with people who have uplifting body messages. Find people who have a similar body size to you, who express freedom and fun in their body size, so that you can almost see yourself in them. And together with this, let's start complimenting, especially as women, let's start complimenting each other on qualities instead of appearance. We are so quick to say, you look. What about saying, you're so present, Deb? You are so hospitable. I love how you held the circle. Vanessa, you're so sharing and open. Erin, just love your message about self-love. Amy, I can just see the sparkle in your eyes when you talk about your relationship with food. It's, you know, taking that away from the physical. And when we do that, we can actually ripple effect into the rest of society as well. It's not just our relationship. We are not just, as much as we think we just ourselves, we're very psychic human beings. So what we have, we reflect into others and we absorb as well. So the more we start giving positive out, the more we'll probably start receiving that, from a psychic perspective too. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic examples, like really practical. I loved how you did that, Stell, and it reminds me of one of the movies that inspires me around this whole topic, which is misrepresentation. And I saw that years ago, and it showed me that it's so ingrained in our society to focus on how we look. Even women politicians were judged on what they were wearing rather than what their policies were, and it's just like what. But then I even noticed that with my nieces, I have beautiful nieces, and it's so easy to just compliment how they look because they do look so gorgeous. So it takes a practice to actually have other conversations that aren't just about how we look. And I love that you brought that one to the table. Thank you. Amy, what's a practical tip from you, honey?
Oh my goodness. All of these were so fabulous. And thank you, Stell. I hope that I can sparkle on everyone. It's my pixie dust. So I am going to piggyback a little bit on Vanessa about choosing. And I would like to encourage you to start playing with your relationship with food. When you choose a food, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's fast food, what you label as bad food or good food. You empower yourself that you are making that choice to eat that food. Have positive thoughts about it and be present with it, to the point where I have my clients sit for 5 minutes. They can't have technology, and I don't care if they went through a drive-through. You pull over, you take 5 minutes, and I want to know how it feels on your tongue. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it spicy? Is it bland? Could it use this spice or that spice? Really focus. And it's kind of a silly little game, but that helps you start to really hone in on what's going into your mouth, because many times we are so out of our bodies that we're not paying attention to what we're putting into them because we're just on autopilot. So taking 5 minutes, no matter what you're eating, empower and notice. That's my tip for the day.
That is very, very powerful for the practice of presence. And I know that that's what you're actually teaching, right? Which is absolutely magical. It's funny, I remember doing Toastmasters years ago, and there's actually, out of all the hours I probably went, there was one speech that really stood out to me, and it was this lady who I don't even know who she is. She actually talked about a chocolate lint ball, which happens to be my favorite chocolate, but she used it for a demonstration of presence, of how looking at it and then the sound of opening the wrapper and smelling it, and yeah, all the scent bringing, and I just like, so thank you for sharing that tip, because I think it's such a fun one to play with, and very, very cool. So I'm also very excited because Vanessa said you made her hungry. We're going well for time. I reckon we could do another round of what you feel to share, if it's another tip or something else that's come to your heart that's really important, before we go into sharing what your freebies are. So let's go around again. Amy, is there something else you want to say? And I'll go in a different order.
I travel a lot. I've actually lived out of my suitcase these last 2 years. And my relationship with food while I was at home and cooking was very settled, very easy. And I found, though, as I started to travel and being exposed to anything, all the restaurants, and you're in these places and you're like, oh, I need to eat. And I had to remind myself that when you're traveling and you have access to all this extra stuff because you're not at home with your little meals that you have control over, you have to have a mentality of, I only need to eat what is satisfying me. And if you're doing the little game, then your body is engaged and you will eat what you need. And be fully aware of the fact that you can come back for more, or you'll go there, or you can access that food again. One of the biggest things is the buffet. Like, you get to the buffet and you start filling your plate because, oh, there's this, and oh, there's that, and oh, there's that. It's so exciting, and we get so overwhelmed with all the things that we don't usually make for ourselves or we don't usually have access to. And so my suggestion for traveling and buffet especially is peruse the whole menu or walk through the whole buffet. Choose the first few things that you want, try those. And the beautiful thing in a buffet is that you keep going back and just be in the mindset, remembering that this isn't the last time you're going to eat. And you're going to be able to go back or to experience, even if you're staying in a place and that's the only restaurant like that, you will come across that again. Like, I know that we get into this, I gotta have this. And it's kind of sitting back and recognizing that, no, I can enjoy every morsel that I want because I'm choosing to, and then be secure in the fact that you'll come back to something that's just as wonderful tomorrow and the next day and the next day.
Thank you. So good. I so need to travel with you.
Anytime.
Erin, what's on your heart to add to this juicy, delicious conversation?
I think it's probably going to kind of go along with that, where it's, our bodies don't absorb the nutrients sometimes because of stress, and how it's really important to understand that we are living in a chronic state of stress, most of us. And even things as your alarm going off in the morning, your body has a stress response. So you start off from your first moment awake throughout the day. If you're rushing, if you have traffic, if you're running late for work, it's amazing how throughout the day we're constantly stressed and our body doesn't relax, and it's in this fight or flight. And when that happens, the blood isn't in your digestive tract. It's in your hands and your feet, because it reacts the exact same way as if you were getting chased by a lion 10,000 years ago. It's very simple. And so, what you want to do is, when you're enjoying these beautiful foods and they're sitting down in front of you, is to be present and to kind of try to get that stress response down. And there's a really easy way to trick your brain. And it's just a 4-4-7 breath. And I teach this a lot, and takes 2 minutes. Nobody knows you're doing it. It's great to do whenever you're stressed, and you just breathe in for 4. You're going to hold for a count of 4, and you're going to exhale for a count of 7. And that exhale is really important, that you want to be longer than the inhale, because that tells your brain she can't possibly be stressed. Because think about when you hyperventilate and you're scared, you're not exhaling. That's why you hyperventilate. And so when you are exhaling fully, you're telling your brain it's okay to relax. And so if you do that before you eat, the blood's going to go back to your digestive tract. You're going to absorb more nutrients. You're going to notice you're full faster, and you're going to have a better experience. So why not get the best out of your meal and relax while you're doing it, and allow your body to not be stressed for a couple minutes?
That's nice, juicy, practical.
I love the practical stuff.
We can all breathe, and we're all breathing anyway. So to take those relaxing breaths before we eat, love it, love it, love it. Vanessa.
Well, that was great. I love what Erin just said. I think I'm going to try to pivot and find another one of mine, because that was going to be what I was going to share, is the extension of the exhale. It's great. The extension of the exhale lets your body know you're safe. And it also burns fat as fuel if you have fat that needs to be burnt and that's held on because of stress. So I'm going to give another one then. And this is kind of like a warrior training, really, is how it felt for me. And it's doing mirror exercises. So going to the mirror and just being with yourself. And I tell you, I don't know if I've ever done anything harder. I mean, childbirth might be right up there with like just being in the mirror with yourself. And at first for me, I would never go without makeup. And now I wear it when I want and don't when I don't, but I would never go in public without it. And if I was in the mirror, I could never be real with myself. I always had to do someone else's face. And like, I was always doing the glamour shots, you know, and it took a long time to go from the phoniness and the facade. I couldn't even be real with myself, into the next phase, which was tearing myself apart, picking myself apart, and then into the final phase when all the facades drop and drop and drop and drop, which is, oh my God, I'm so lovable and worthy. Oh my God, just like every single other person is. And I know from personal experience, because I feel it, because I know it, that we're all worthy. We're all just as lovable as when we were born. It doesn't matter, you know, what's going on with our health. It matters because we might be suffering, but it doesn't take away our lovability. It doesn't take away our worth and our value. So I guess my tip would really be to try spending some time in the mirror where you're not doing the fixing and the, you know, I mean, there's a time and a place, you know, I get ready in the mirror. So I mean, like, but I'm saying be in the mirror with yourself, facing yourself, and see what's there. And I promise you, if you stay long enough, and it might take years, it might take months, I promise you, you will see your real self and you will fall in love, because that's what's really there.
I love this one. I love it. I love that we have some really simple ones that you could do really easily, and some more challenging ones too. So this is awesome. Very, very powerful. Cool. Stell, what would you like to share?
I'm going to add a challenging one in there too.
Right.
And this is really about wearing clothes that fit you. You know, we, you know, have this whole wardrobe of the clothes, you know, our skinny clothes. We want to force ourselves back into that. Sometimes you probably like still squeeze into those jeans. Your underwear, when last did you update your underwear? Like we talked about our bodies changing all the time. It's only fair that our bodies feel comfortable in what we wear. So often when I speak to my clients and they, you know, worried about some weight that they have gained, the first thing I say to them is, well, what is it about the weight? They're like, well, I feel uncomfortable. And feeling uncomfortable is a mindset. The body does not feel discomfort, right? It's what we perceive in the mind. So if your underwear does not fit you properly, of course you're going to feel uncomfortable. If your pants is the pants you bought in uni and you still insist on wearing that, you're not going to feel comfortable in that. So wear clothes that really, you know, make you feel comfortable, so that you don't feel restricted, and you can then feel confident, because, you know, you like, if we wear clothes that's too small, of course we're going to have rolls that might roll out, or, you know, of course we're going to feel like tight and constricted when our bras don't fit, you know. And I know this is hard, and this is one of the hardest things that I had to come with to terms with, is buying the bigger jean size, you know, like, but it was so nice when I did. And, you know, nothing changed. I actually felt like I looked better in the mirror being in the jeans that fit me, instead of squeezing into something that didn't fit me. It's almost like there was even a relaxed expression in my face, because I was in, and like, I just didn't feel that discomfort anymore. So yeah, I know I'm talking, I am not like talking, I am still in my thin privilege, you know. I am not in, like, you know, in some of the larger bodies people really struggle, but I really think it's important that we nourish ourselves and tell our bodies, you know, it's okay to say, yeah, it's you know, I accept myself as I am, but if you're not wearing the clothes that's as that, you know, that fit you as you are, then you're not affirming that message. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I think whatever size, shape we are, finding the right clothes to suit our size and shape is absolutely going to have us feel better, more comfort, like you say, and more stylish, like more rocking what we got. Like, that is a really powerful tip. And something that if you don't know what to do, get help with it, because there's plenty of people that can help you with that, right? So I love all the tips you shared. You all amazing. I think we could talk for days on this. However, we are going to we're going to maybe do another time, because we will close this one off. But what I'd love to talk about is just the little freebie that you have that we're going to share in the group, that those are watching. And actually, I invite people to comment and share and like and ask questions and reach out to these beautiful wisdom teachers, and let us know if you want us to do it again and all of those things. Please be telling us your thoughts and feelings, but and definitely reach out to each of these amazing women. But if we go around and just hear, what is it that is your freebie? What's it about? So they'll know if they're meant to which freebie to get. They might want all, but maybe it'll be a specific one that's more suited. So Stell, what's your freebie, honey?
Well, today I actually just started with something basic, and it's a healthy eating toolkit. It's for anyone who really feels like they're overwhelmed in emotional eating. This will just give you some guidelines on what to focus on, get back to the basics in meal planning, but also starting to, I've got a beautiful checklist there on mindful eating as well. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Awesome. And Erin.
I have a free ebook, and it's Your Guide to Ultimate Health. And it's really interesting to take a look at, because it's going to dive into 7 aspects that really determine your overall health. That has nothing to do with the number on the scale. That are, kind of, happiness, your determination, things like that, that people don't realize really impact your overall health every day. So it's kind of a fun little quiz book to take, and you're going to get a really good idea of how is your health now, what areas might need a little bit of work, and what areas you really excel at. It's fun. So I like this book a lot.
Yay, it's awesome, your book. I've definitely had a chance to check yours out. I'm going to check them all out, by the way. I'm super pumped for all these freebies. And thank you, Sophie Soul, for tuning in. Loving that you're loving the conversation. Thank you, Gabby, for being here too, and the others that are there that I haven't quite captured the names, but we love you, and well done for showing up for this conversation, because we're really here to share some inspiration and wisdom that you can actually create the life you want. Thank you. Vanessa, what's your freebie, honey?
Yeah, well, first I'll say that I've already gone on to the other panelists' sites and looked and partaking in your freebies, because I just think you're all fabulous and love to learn from everyone. So my freebie today it's a 5-day reset. I call it the Realign Reset, and it's very much a mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic. I do touch on your relationship with food. But it's less of I don't do diet stuff. That's not what this is. This is more of realigning from the inside to the body that's going to give you the most freedom, comfort, ease, lightness, whether that means literally, but also in every way, just really lightening up on the inside, how to change your mind. So the Realigned Reset is what I've been calling it.
Love it. Thank you. And thanks for also I just want to acknowledge you all for being so collaborative. Like, even though you do help people in similar domain, it's like you're all got your unique flavor and can all play together to really create this mission of empowering everyone. There's a huge amount of people who need your wisdom, and it's exciting to play together. And Suzanne Rodolfi, you rock what you got. So great to see you watching. Thanks for joining us. And over to Amy. What's your freebie for us, please, honey?
Hello. Yes, I love that we're all working together, because there's no way that I could reach everybody. We need a big group. Like, we need hundreds of us, right? To get out there and to really make a difference. This is going to be awesome. So I do not have a freebie. I have an email list. It is a little bit new, so it's got some new tips and tricks coming out. I am working on a few things, like a book called Meal Prep Magic, to help you pull the ideas that I brought over from Italy and implement them in your weekly life. So that's on its way, but not quite ready. And I would just love to be in touch with anybody who has questions. You can interact with me there. And yes,
Yay! So this has been done as a Facebook Live. So definitely, if you're watching on Facebook, very easy to connect with directly with Amy, Erin, Vanessa, Estelle. Their Facebook name will be there for you to click through, send them a message. Also, as I said, put in comments, and we're also going to share this beyond into other platforms. So we'll have web links there for you to connect in. I'm Deb, the co-founder of the Wisdom Playground. We work with coaches, healers, and new era wisdom teachers to expand their reach and impact. And we have some freebies too if you are someone that fits into that category. If not, we actually have a freebie that is called Play More, and it's some tips on how to bring more play into your life, and that is all related to of course, rocking what you've got, because when we're rocking what we got, we're playing. So yeah, so this has been just such an inspiring connection with all of you. I just adore each of you so much, and I love what you're doing with the world. So excited to shine the light on you, and I really look forward to many people benefiting from this really lovely collaboration, lovely conversation, really powerful tips, and your stories are so inspiring, and so thank you so much for sharing. Let's go to final thoughts from each of you, even though I don't really want to finish. So let's start with you, Erin, darling.
First, I just want to thank everyone here. This was beautiful. You are all amazing. And I'm so thankful to be able to have this conversation. And I'm so thankful that we are, all here at the same time, present in this crazy universe, talking about something so important. So I guess that's my final thought is don't let this topic go to rest. Keep talking, share it with other women, and keep the conversation going.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Erin. Beautiful. Stell.
I feel the same as Erin. Thank you so much for these beautiful souls who just openly shared their journeys and their experiences and their amazing, amazing advice. I think we're very aligned in what we talk about. And, for anyone listening out there and you don't know where to start, this has been an amazing place to start. But don't overwhelm yourself. Start with one thing and experiment. I love the way Amy said it, experiment and have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. I know this topic is really serious, but go have fun with what you're trying. This is a journey. We've had so many years and years and years. Some of my clients are in their 50s and 60s, years of eating disorders or years of body dysmorphia. It's going to take time to unravel that, so give yourself that time and let go of the judgment when it doesn't just happen overnight. We're so used to the quick fixes, the 30-day detox, or the 8-week challenge, those kind of things. But it's going to take time. Just give yourself that and give yourself love as you do it. That's mine.
Oh, so true, so true. And yes, keep it simple. Start with one thing, and yeah, wow, I couldn't agree more. I want to just acknowledge Leslie, who's joined today, and thank you for your comment. Leslie, next time you can join us because you can talk about body movement with all of this. But yeah, I think that you mentioned body dysmorphia still. We didn't even get touched on that. So it's like all these little rabbit holes I'd love to go down. We will have to do another Rock What You've Got. What do you reckon?
Absolutely.
Cool. Vanessa.
Yeah, so just thank you. Really honored to be here with all of you, including you, Deb. Thanks. You've done a beautiful job, and thanks for bringing us together. And yeah, it really is about coming together and seeing each other as the truth is what we are as sisters, all worthy, beautiful sisters, every woman and girl in the world. And unfortunately, this is a big enough epidemic that there's enough people for us to all serve, and we can all just cooperate together to do this. And that each and every person out there, whatever they're struggling with, whatever depth there is, like in the moment that the dysfunction or the problem is born, the solution is already there waiting. You know, it's already like this light is the destiny. So you can make it.
Mm, beautiful. You can make it, baby. A solution is there.
Mm-hmm.
Amy.
Oh, this has been so fun. And we can make it, especially as we're grouped together, as we're supporting each other. This has been so much fun. I feel like we got to come play in your playground, Deb. And yes, please invite me back. It was super fun. And I'll be in Australia soon.
Ah, fantastic.
Hopefully next year,
Great.
beginning of next year. I'm working on it. So this is awesome. I just want to encourage people to do take it slow. It did take years for you to get where you're at, and there is a solution. And you have different guides here, different personalities, different backgrounds, all these different things that we bring to the table. And we all know each other. So if somebody comes to me and I know that they're a better place to be with Erin, we're going to work off of that. We're going to encourage you to be with the soul that can guide you on the journey you need to be on. So I'm so excited to be a part of a panel, a group of women that are here to journey with other women through the growth that they want to get to their lights. So thank you.
Yay, thank you. And I'm excited. We've gotten some comments to have another one already. So I'm like, yay, let's do it. So just want to thank you again, Amy, Erin, Vanessa, Estelle. You guys are amazing. I want to thank everyone who's actually tuned in for this, and please encourage you to reach out to these incredible women. Grab their freebies as well and get into action in some way. Take at least one action that can move you forward to what you truly want, what your heart really wants. And in the meantime, till next time, keep on loving. Yay! Bye. All right.